Hello, Ellen. I have a little bit of stuff that I'd like to talk with you about and get your opinion on. Do you think you can chat with me for a second?
Well, hello, Kim. I have all the time in the world to talk with you. What did you want to talk with me about?
Well, this is about your son, Jeremy. Recently, he's been a bit of a pain in my butt. And, I wanted to tell you about him to see what you think and in what ways you can help.
What do you mean he's been a pain in your butt, though? Because, as his mom, I can understand that sometimes. Did he do something to you this time that you really didn't like?
Well, for a little bit now, things with his behavior have changed. I've tried time and time again to talk with him about it, or really anything, and he gives me the cold shoulder. Right now, it's like he's not even bothering to listen to me anymore. And he's also been saying he's coming home late every day and won't let me cook a thing for him. If he didn't want me to make anything for him, then he should tell me before I've already started making dinner, though.
That is a bit too far, even for him, isn't it?
Sometimes he won't even tell me that he's coming home from work late at all, and I begin to worry about him. And those times I do make something for him to eat, just in case he does come home. He'll show up late in the night and go right to sleep without saying sorry.
I never knew he was the type of person to do things like that. Since when did he start to behave like that?
Maybe 2 months or so ago. And these last few weeks, we haven't even spoken to one another at all.
That must be really hard for you, Kim. I wonder what the heck has gotten into Jeremy then.
And it hasn't just been not showing up back home until late every night and him not talking to me anymore. He also runs off somewhere every weekend and never tells me about it. We still have a little kid at home, so it would be nice of him to stay close by and maybe help me out a little. But it's like he doesn't even care about the family anymore. Do you think he thinks it's okay to leave me in charge of everything in this house? Maybe he's the kind of guy that thinks women are supposed to be home all the time and take care of everything for them. If that's the case, then he needs to get his head out of the 1900s.
He really does. I think you have that right about him. He thinks that he can do whatever he wants because he's the man, but in this day and age, both the husband and wife need to be taking care of the house.
Right? The only time he ever seemed to care for our kid was right when I gave birth to her. He's not even hugging her anymore now and will ignore her whenever she begins to cry. It's like he never wanted me to have a baby in the first place. She'll even try going over to him from time to time, and he'll just get up and go to another room.
He's acting that way towards Lynn as well now? But he was so happy when you gave birth to her, like he'd never let her go.
I'm getting really tired of this from him. I'm sorry that I've had to bring this all up with you, Ellen, but the way he's acting towards his family right now is not okay.
I can see that, and I agree with you. I'm sorry that my son is being a lot worse than he normally has been in the past.
I'm starting to become jealous of other families now because of how hard life is around him. No matter who I look at, they always seem to be so happy, and both the husband and wife work together to make sure things stay happy.
And you are totally right. Recently, families have become a lot stronger, with both the husband and wife sharing equal responsibilities. Now that we're talking about Jeremy, how has his job been going for him? Wasn't he just going through the busy season there?
He was, but I'm not sure he is anymore. He used to tell me he was always so busy at work, but recently he never tells me anything about his job.
Well, maybe he's just burnt out after that. And maybe that's why he no longer has any time for anyone besides himself. We've all experienced times like that before, so maybe he just needs some space so that he can recharge.
But I'm not going to take that as an excuse for him always giving me the cold shoulder every single day. I'm sure that he's feeling really tired out right now, but so am I. However, unlike him, I can't just take time off and ignore everyone. And when it comes to our daughter, it doesn't matter how we're feeling. We have to be around the house for her. That's why I'm jealous of all these other young families, because the husband is working together with their wife to get things done. I feel like Jeremy is completely different from everyone else.
I think so too. I'm sorry about that. You happen to be just as busy as he is, if not more busy now that he's not helping out anymore. Having to do the chores and raise a child by yourself every day must be awful for you. It shouldn't matter how busy he is at work during the week, because he should at least be around the house on the weekend to work together with you. I think he's made a bad choice forcing you to handle everything there all by yourself.
You understand the problem here, right? It's an extremely tough thing having to raise such a small little girl. Lynn happens to cry a lot in the middle of the night, and my family's house is too far away for me to rely on them for help. I'm going to be honest, I'm at my limits right now, mentally and physically.
I am so very sorry about Jeremy. He might have been a little monster when he was younger, but as he grew up, he became so much nicer, and I thought that meant he'd become a really good husband for any woman to have. To think he's strayed this far?
He is the complete opposite of what we all thought at first. I also assumed he was a really nice guy, and that's the reason I said yes to him. And I don't think this has anything to do with Lynn being born, right? I think he's just been hiding his true self from me in order to use me. Had I known he'd turn out this way after marriage, I would have never married him and carried his baby.
I see. I'm sure you're starting to regret things now when he's been completely avoiding you like that.
Right? It's so difficult for me that I just can't take it anymore. Recently, while it's just been Lynn and I in the house, I begin to have tears roll down my face. I get lonely, and I really start to regret all the choices I've made in life. I'm starting to go crazy having to deal with a man like him.
I'm so sorry. How about this? I'll come over to your guys' place from now on and lend you a hand. I'll do the chores with you and take care of Lynn when you need a break.
No, you don't have to do that for me. Before you even have to think about doing that, how about you go and have a talk with Jeremy about this? He's not listening to me anymore, and I don't even think he notices I'm around anymore. If he doesn't start to get himself straight here, I am going to really begin to fall apart.
All right then. I want to go and ask him about why he's done a 180 like that and will no longer talk to you or handle any of the chores or care for Lynn. It's one thing for him to treat you with a cold shoulder, but doing it to avoid his own daughter to the point he avoids her? That is completely unacceptable.
Perhaps this could mean that Jeremy's been having an affair? And that's why he no longer cares about the family he has at home anymore? If that's the reason for all this, then I guess I could understand why he's been acting that way. But of course, that would be the worst case scenario for me.
I really don't think I can see my son ever doing something as ridiculous as that, but thinking of it all now, if he was having an affair, it would explain all that's been going on with him. All right, I'm going to go have a chat with my son for you. I really am sorry for what's been happening to you and Lynn.
I myself am sorry for bringing all of this up with you so suddenly. But I'm telling you right now, it's only a matter of time before I give up completely and fall apart. So please, do your best to figure things out for me.
Jeremy, what has gotten into you?
What are you talking about?
I've heard a lot of things from Kim about you. Forcing her to take care of everything in that house by herself is not okay.
Wait, what are you actually talking about, Mom?
You've been leaving your wife and daughter to deal with everything at home while you run off and give them the cold shoulder, right? You haven't even bothered helping with the chores or caring for Lynn anymore. And that's on top of you never talking to Kim anymore. What the heck has been going on with you, Jeremy?
She came to you and told you all of that? I haven't been acting cold towards her whatsoever, though, Mom.
Please do not lie to me. I heard all of this from her just a little bit ago, and she was acting like she wanted to cry even more over it. She was telling me about how you've been acting really poorly recently, and she asked me to come and talk with you about it.
What does she mean I've been acting poorly recently? What all did she tell you about me that made you believe her?
Well, she's told me about your behavior towards your family, and it seems you've been avoiding both of them every single day now. Right now, Kim is starting to question whether you might be cheating on her or not.
Huh? She's been questioning me? Why is she telling you, of all people, things like that about me right now?
Well, you have been acting abnormal recently, so she has no other choice but to question you. It's not good for a husband to never care about his wife. And she's asking me to handle you now because you won't ever listen to her anymore. Why are you doing all of this to her when she hasn't done anything wrong to you?
What is she talking about? She wants you to come and set me straight or something then.
Well, I have to because it's a fact that you've been acting horribly towards your family. I have no other choice now than to help her figure out what's going on with you. I understand that you've been busy with work and all, but you have to be there for your wife and daughter as well. Your daughter is still really young, and it's tough on Kim to have to raise her alone. So please, go and help your wife out with everything, and stop acting like a selfish brat. If you want to be a father, you have to do what's right. And taking care of your child is the #1 thing on your list of being a father.
The one that needs to start acting like a parent is Kim, though. That witch has started to drag you into all of this now.
What are you talking about? No matter how I try and look at this, you're the one in the wrong.
The only one that's in the wrong here is Kim. I have not done a single thing wrong, okay? It's her fault for starting all of this. And now she thinks that she can get my mom on her side to defend her for it?
Why are you starting to get so upset over this? You were the one that started to force her to take these drastic actions. You can't blame her for talking the truth about things in her house when you're not even bothering to work together with her anymore to make things right.
Bullcrap. You must not know the first thing about Kim then, Mom. You should be more doubtful of her instead of just blindly believing everything she said.
Why are you saying so many bad things about her? You've been the one completely ignoring your wife and daughter, all just to have some time to yourself, right? Yet even now, after I've confronted you on that bad behavior, you're not going to just accept that you've been wrong and need to change? Just like Kim called you, you've become a really bad husband, a pain in the ass.
You have everything wrong though, Mom. You and I have both been lied to by Kim, and for a long time now.
What do you mean we've been lied to by her?
I didn't want to get you worried about me, and that's why I never told you anything. But if she's going to get you to join her side now, then I'm going to have to speak the truth. Just know that I've done nothing wrong, and I'm going to let you know why that is.
Excuse me, can we talk right now?
Oh, what's going on, Kim? Is there something else you'd like to talk to me about?
Yes, something really bad has happened. Ellen, my husband has just gotten up and vanished on me.
Oh, is that so? So you can't find my son anywhere? I'm sure you're surprised by that, right?
What do you mean? Of course I'm surprised and freaking out right now. Now, could you stop saying things like that when you should be just as worried as I am now? I'm talking about your son after all going missing.
I'm sorry about that. And so? You found out that my son is no longer around and you've come to me about it. Why?
You have to know why. He just left the house out of nowhere and has not come back yet, which is a huge problem for someone like me. I can't raise a baby and support myself all on my own, so please help me.
If you want me to help, then let me know in what way.
Can you start sending me money each month now that Jeremy isn't around to pay for things? If I can't get the support I need now, it just won't be myself but Lynn that has to live through hell as well.
So you want me to start sending you money then? No way. That child is yours after all, so you need to figure all that out yourself. Good luck.
What do you mean, no way? It's because of your son that I'm having to go through hell right now on my own. So to make up for his behavior, I want you to start sending me money.
You can say that it's all his fault all you want. But why should I have to be the one to step in for him?
Are you being serious right now, Ellen? I don't even have access to my husband's debit or credit cards anymore. If I don't get help financially right now, I won't be able to pay for the house next month. You are his mother, so take responsibility for him and help me out.
When you say you need me to send you money, you would most likely need a couple thousand every month, right? I'm sorry, but I don't have that kind of money to just hand out. I have to take care of myself, you know.
Are you just going to act like you don't care that our lives over here are going to be over if we don't get the money we need? This is your granddaughter's life as well on the line.
Actually, to be honest, I don't really care what happens to you both at all.
Huh? You don't give a crap about your granddaughter? Do you really think it's okay saying something like that about a baby? You and your son are both terrible people.
Well, if it really was my grandchild, then I guess I would be a terrible person. But Lynn is not my son's child. So that means she's absolutely nothing to me but a stranger.
Why are you starting to say the most crazy things about your own family now? You think you can use an excuse like that to get out of having to care for your daughter-in-law and granddaughter?
I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm just explaining the truth to you, and that's all. Lynn is not my son's kid at all, right? You happen to make that girl with another man who was not my son, right?
Huh? What are you talking about? I have no freaking idea why you think that now.
Really? You have no idea why? Then I guess I'll have to explain what's happened with you to you a bit more. You happened to cheat on my son. And while you were with that man, you became pregnant with Lynn, right?
I cannot believe what I'm hearing. You are acting way out of line right now, saying such rude things as that. Just because you don't have the heart to care for your family doesn't mean you get to start blaming me. Seriously, both you and Jeremy are the worst people I have ever met.
Are you done yet? Listen to every word I'm about to tell you. The reason why your husband started to behave differently around you is because of a very, very important reason. He became aware that you'd been cheating on him with someone else. And because of that realization, he no longer wanted to be home with you anymore, and he couldn't even stand seeing your face. If you would like me to tell it to you straight, what you've been doing really broke my son's heart.
I have not been cheating on him. What the hell has started happening with you now, Ellen?
Jeremy learned about you cheating on him many months ago. He noticed a text pop up on your phone from the other man you were cheating on Jeremy with, and that's when things changed. After seeing that later in the night while you were sleeping, he took your phone and looked into who that was some more. He found in your photos that there were hundreds upon hundreds of pictures in there of you and that other man.
That just happens to be one of my friends who's a guy. He must have seen that photo we took together and misunderstood what was going on. Taking a picture together with your friend is not something he can start acting all crazy about.
But that's not the only evidence he has of you cheating.
Why are you saying evidence? I told you that you both have it all wrong, so there's no point in bothering with it anymore. Are you and him trying to harass me or something now?
He started to question whether Lynn and him were really related by blood after his first discovery. Do you know the answer to that? Is my son related by blood to Lynn? If you know that answer, then I shouldn't have to say more, right? I know the answer. I looked at those DNA tests he had taken.
What? He had a DNA test taken?
Yes, and yesterday we finally got the test results from the clinic. And guess what we learned? We learned that there is in fact no blood relation between the two of them. In other words, that means you slept with another man while with my son, and that other man got you pregnant. You should know already that Lynn is the other man's child, right? So you can cut it out with all those excuses and come quietly.
You're wrong.
Wrong about what?
What I've been doing is not cheating.
What are you going on about now? We've already know about who the other man is you've been with. The one whose daughter happens to be Lynn. He happens to be an old friend of yours from your hometown, and even Jeremy has seen him in person before. And when Jeremy found out that he'd been going out with you, he was in shock.
That man just happens to be a friend of mine from middle school. He was one grade above me is all.
And back in your hometown, there is some history between you both.
I get that some people think he looks a little sketchy from the outside, but on the inside he's so kind. He's not a bad man for what happened.
Ah, so here we go. You really have been in love with him more than my son. Is it true, then, that you and him have had a close relationship with one another all the way since middle school? And even when you married my son, that relationship carried on?
You have it wrong.
For the time being, we all know that it's a fact that you stabbed Jeremy square in the back. My son is in complete shock from everything and has not spoken to me anymore today. He's off with a lawyer now, and they're both preparing to have you taken to court in order for my son to get a settlement for this. Prepare yourself.
Are you guys planning to throw me and my kid away then?
You stabbed my son and myself in the back, Kim. There's no reason for my son to ever want to be back together with you or the baby ever again. He's going to get this divorce, and he's going to make sure the kid goes to you.
Even if he's not related to Lynn by blood, there was still a time when he looked at her as though she was his own. Yet you guys think you can just split my family in half and not face any consequences? Even if he isn't the father, he had cared for her as his daughter, and we can still make things work.
He would much rather hurt you both by leaving than force himself to be around someone who doesn't love him. From what Jeremy has told me, he can't even look Lynn in the face anymore without feeling pain. You were the one to cause all of this, and now my son can no longer love you both. It really hurts him too much, and his heart cannot take it. He shouldn't have to support you guys anymore after the truth we've learned.
Do you not even feel bad for the baby, though? She'll have to live the rest of her life without a father, and I feel so sorry because of that.
You were the one that did this to her, so you should be feeling sorry for her. Stop trying to make my son and I feel bad for your mistakes. If you want to have a father for your daughter, then go get her real father to marry you. He's the one that made her with you, after all.
I can't rely on someone like him. He and I were only with one another for the sex.
But I thought you said he was a great man, a very nice guy, even. Well, I guess those rumors that everyone in your hometown were telling about him are true. Do you like having sex with men that sleep with hundreds of other women? Well then, why did you ever marry my son when you were the one that took his virginity? My son is nothing like that man you let impregnate you, so why bother with my son?
It's not like that, though. I just got a little bored of Jeremy.
Do not BS me like that. You became bored with my son and thought that that was a good enough reason to cheat on him? You've already gone and broken my son's heart and left him without a single apology, and now you're going to say it was all because he was boring? You really did a great job this time, ruining someone else's life like that.
I'm so sorry about that. I guess I did end up cheating on him, but I'm no longer meeting with that other man now. What happened with him is all in the past now, so let's just let it go.
You'd better shut the hell up with all that crap right now, or I'm going to... Ugh. You are really starting to be a pain in the ass for me right now. You say that like it happened years ago, when really it's all been going on this year. My son and I are not going to forgive you for any of what you've done.
Ellen, tell my husband to stop what he's doing, please, please, please.
You want me to stop him? Whatever for?
The amount of money he's asking me for in the settlement is outrageous.
I think he's asking you for the perfect amount if you ask me. You damaged his heart, and it's going to take years to fix it now. So there needs to be some way to fund it. Remember that you cheated on my son for a very long time, and that you forced my son to take on the baby you had with another man without ever telling the truth.
But if he takes that kind of money from me, I'm not going to be able to carry on. You realize that I'm going to be all on my own now, having to take care of Lynn, right? I need all the money I can get.
Why do you think I want to sit here and listen to you complain again? If it's going to be that bad for you, go find the man you let grow a baby in you and start living with him. Or perhaps ask for him to start paying child support.
There's no way that will happen. He's already told me he's not taking responsibility for the baby. Also, he happens to be engaged to someone else now.
That seems to be the case, huh? I heard that from Jeremy a little bit ago, and that shocked me a bit. But based off what's happened here, he's going to lose his fiancée, right?
Has he gone and spoken to my parents about this? My parents have started to harass me about all this, and it's making things even worse for me.
He's divorcing you, so he had to speak with them about it.
But why is everyone on his side about all of this? Not even my own parents are wanting to help me anymore.
And I myself received a call from your parents saying they were sorry. They told me that you are a complete embarrassment to their family and that they hope after all this you learn to behave yourself. Apparently they know about that little old friend of yours who got you pregnant, and they've always hated him. I guess even your family is not on your side anymore, and they never were to begin with, huh?
This is the first time I've ever been yelled at so much by my parents, though. They even told me that they won't help with the settlement.
That's because it's a settlement that you have to pay. The judge never once said that your parents had to pay for any of it. This is what you get, Kim. They are not the ones that made all those stupid decisions.
How am I supposed to take care of Lynn, though, if I'm losing everything? We're both going to be ruined by you all. Why do I have to be the one being punished this badly when I'm the one with the baby?
Because you're a crazy witch and deserve to be sent to hell for what you did to my son. And the funny thing is, with all of this, you still don't really seem to understand that you've done anything wrong. You started to worry more about the man that impregnated you than your own husband.
Huh? What are you talking about? What does any of that mean?
When Jeremy went over to your other man's place to get the settlement from him, he told Jeremy about you. He said that you were the one that asked him to go to the hotel with you and made sure to poke a hole in the condom while there. He told Jeremy about how after a few months, you told him you were sorry for doing that, and as a way of showing how sorry you were, you'd make Jeremy care for the baby. To be honest, your man didn't even want to go to the hotel with you because he had his fiancée. He even told you that. But you told him that you still loved him and that he owed you one more night of fun.
I never did any of that. He was the one that asked me to go. And when I went, I asked him to wear a condom, but he never put it on when he climaxed. It was all him.
Bull crap. But whatever. You both are not my problem, and you both landed yourselves in such horrible situations. Whether it was him that got you pregnant or you that forced him to get you pregnant, you agreed to have sex with him while married to my son. You are not going to try and make yourself look any better now because it's already way past that point.
Please, believe me. Can you at least trust what I've told you, Ellen? I'm telling you that your son is trying to take all of this way too far, and he is really going to ruin my life. You're supposed to be the nice one, so please stop him before it's too late.
Sorry, but I will never, ever be helping out the woman that hurt my son in so many ways, even if she is going to burn in hell. Because I actually want to see you burning in hell after this. I'm sure you can't tell, but I am fuming at the fact that you hurt my son in so many ways. Well, I'm not going to let a demon like you hurt him any longer. You pay off everything my son asks you for, and once that's all finished, you crawl back into the hole leading to the hell you came out of. After that, my son was able to get his money from both the man that Kim had been cheating on him with and herself. After that, Kim was left with no money at all and had to take herself and her baby back home to her parents. She had Lynn with her, so her parents could not say no to letting them stay. However, they were not going to help her pay any of the debt off she'd gotten herself into. But soon after starting to live in their house, the relationship between her and her parents turned even worse. In the end, she left their house for good and started a job somewhere far away and has been paying her debts off little by little while also never going out to see anyone. Her baby went to her parents, who started to care for her on their own. As for the man that had Lynn with Kim, after having to pay off the settlement to my son, his fiancée left him. There were already a lot of bad stories floating around about the guy and what he'd done, but the story of him having to pay my son after having a baby with my son's wife really started to make things look really bad. This only fueled the rumors that spread about him, and people began to say he had committed crimes and things like that, which to me is not all too difficult to believe. As of right now, he's on the streets, having been kicked out of his house by his fiancée, and has gone back to his ways of sleeping with all kinds of women. When it comes to my son, it took a long time for the wound that had been caused to his heart to start scabbing over. But recently, things have been starting to look better for him, as he's found himself a new girl, and she's been helping him heal that wound right up. I was actually the one to show him to her, as she's the daughter of one of my good friends, and I'm so glad to see she cares so much for him. She's a really calm girl and happens to fit perfectly with my son's personality. I'm thinking that with a little more time, she'll be able to make him forget all about the horrible past he's lived through, and he'll be smiling like his old self once again.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.